What is up, everybody? Um, what is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Two videos in a row. What is this? We're locking in. We're locking in. I changed the settings up a little bit because I was shooting log in the previous video, and I just set this on the cinematic mode on the camera, so it should look a lot better. Color should pop a lot more. So yeah. Um, But I guess the first thing or today's topic of discussion is going to be ambition and or the lack of ambition in people nowadays. Um, I see it very often, and I mean everywhere. The lack of ambition. So in school, for example, I am a college student, and I am currently partaking in, or not partaking in. I'm currently in school, and I have about a year left, roughly. And it is so interesting to see the lack of ambition that probably 99% of people have. They don't really know what they're gonna do. You ask them, they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know." Like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" I don't know. They don't really have any hopes or any goals or any dreams. They're like, "Yeah, I'm working here right now. Hopefully, I can get something. Hopefully something happens." But there's no confidence or there's no ambition. They're like, "Yeah, I want to get this degree and I have this internship lined up, and sure, corporate America sounds so fun. Sounds so fun." So it's shocking, a little bit shocking. I'm still very young. I'm 23 years old, and I'm grateful that, given my circumstances and the way that I grew up, I'm very blessed to be in the spot that I'm in. I grew up in Costa Rica, born and raised there 17 years, then moved up here, lived with my uncle. He got married, moved in with another uncle. They were about to have a kid, so I moved in with another uncle, then finally moved in with a roommate, and then lived on campus for a year, and then finally on my own. And the whole time I've always been very self-sustaining. My parents have helped me out a little bit. Each month they helped me out a little bit, but I always had to work. I remember my first job was at Firehouse Subs, and I was very unambitious. I was very unambitious. I remember when I first moved here, all I cared about was playing video games, and that's about it. Playing video games, that's it. That's all I cared about. Um, to the point where I'd play 14-hour days. That was peak COVID, so I was only playing video games, watching YouTube video games, sleep. Nothing else much going on. And that was my first year, so that was 2020. And then I think it was August 2021 is when I moved in with my other uncle. And I remember this one day I was having this conversation with my aunt. She was driving me somewhere. I was driving her to the airport or something. She's like, "Oh, so what do you want to do?" Like, I was working, so I worked at Firehouse first, and I worked at Chili's, and I was working at Chili's. Well, at first when I was living with them, I was like, "Yeah, I'm working at Chili's. Like, it's a great job." I was getting paid maybe $17 an hour, which anecdotally, it's super depressing because my brother had graduated 2020, May 2020, and he moved in with me and my uncle. He had a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with a focus in aerospace engineering. He was working at Bike Barn for $12 an hour. I was working at Chili's, no degree, still in high school, making $17 an hour off of tips, right? $2 base salary, but $17 average an hour. And it was really depressing because I had no qualifications, nothing, and I was making more money than him. Anyways, um, back to the story. But I remember this drive with my aunt. She's like, "So, what do you want to do? Like, are you gonna do anything with your life? Like, do you want?" In a very kind and loving way, because all she would see me do is play video games. I'm like, I don't really know. Like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm finishing up school and have a lot of free time, and I'm starting to work out and go to the gym. And at that point, I was very freshly into the gym. I was working out at that house. My uncle had a garage gym, and I remember I was like, I'm not gonna get a gym membership until I can squat 225. And so I'd literally do nothing but squats. I did nothing but squats for about 7 months until I hit 225. And then I can look back at my videos. It's super painful to see my form and to see how skinny I was and to see how frail I looked and honestly how gay I looked. I looked super gay. Maybe I still do, but back then I looked like a child and it was really sad. Nothing wrong with gay people. I just looked really gay and I'm not gay. Um, but I'd started to get into fitness and as I'm sitting here shirtless, I got a girl. That's her. Anyways, spoiler. I'd gotten into fitness, started training. So I was getting into the gym. I was like, yeah, I'm working out. I'm doing all these things, but I don't really have a plan for the future. And then I got a job at a company called Sherwin-Williams, which is a paint company. Really, really good job. Amazing people. Probably one of the best bosses that I've had and somebody who I try to emulate now at my current job. He's a manager now. He's like a sales associate for the company, so he's doing or not a sales associate, sales representative. Sales associates counters. He's a sales rep, so he goes out to different job sites and whatever. So he's doing very well. Um, his name is Alex. I'm not going to say his last name, but he's probably the best manager, one of the best managers I had. Super chill, super down to earth, very driven. Drove a Mustang, badass car. Lived super far away from where I was. He lived in Arcola, and he'd drive all the way to like east, super west, yeah, super west Houston, bordering Katy. So he drives super far, but he was super cool, super nice, super friendly, super hardworking, super smart, knew what he was doing, kind of had it figured out. Um, and so that was one person that kind of clicked with me, like, oh, that's the kind of person I want to be. Like, I want to be this person that's reliable, that can be super chill at what they're doing. It's not that deep. It really is not that deep. We're here to work, and you try to make work a good time. Make it a good time. We all have to work. We all have to put in our time, so might as well make the most of it. So he was the kind of the first influence, and I was still just playing video games and working out, playing video games, working out, eating, trying to bulk up, hanging out with friends. At that point, I had a really friend group, and I'd hang out with them, and we'd go get food. We'd go, I don't know, to the park. We'd go to their house, to the pool, and stuff like that. Just have fun, normal high school, late high school things. Um, I was only here in the states, so 2020 would have been the first half of 2020. Costa Rica is weird. Costa Rica goes up till 11th grade, and then you graduate and you go straight to college. So because I didn't care to go to college in Costa Rica, I technically didn't graduate. I finished up the year, and the year goes from January to December, which makes more sense than August to May or whatever. That's just a stupid thing. January to December makes sense because that's a full year, like literally a full calendar year, not a school year. Anyways, but I did my second half of 10th grade or second half of 11th grade here, and then I did my senior year. So that was that period of time. Didn't really have any drive. Then I came across this YouTube channel called The Standard, and not The Standard, The Roommates. So Chris Bilo, who's my boy, and Hafiz Mbaku. That's probably racist. Sorry, Hafiz. Much more close with Chris though. But I came across this YouTube channel, big YouTube channel, and there was this or well, shit, no, my timeline is completely off. I was not working at Sherwin-Williams at the time. That was after. I was working at Chili's, and I was working at Firehouse Subs and Chili's. So I was working at Chili's as a waiter, and then I got it part time, or I got another job as a um, handyman. So this was my time as a handyman working for an independent contractor. I was building fences, sanding walls. It was a crazy job. But anyways, I found that YouTube channel and I'd watch it on the job site, or I'd listen to it on the job site as I had to. The guy had me sanding an entire, I don't even know, like it was the entire exterior of a building with a hand drill. So maybe about, I don't really have any props around me, but this was the size of that's my face. This was the size of the sanding disc that he made me use, and it was one of those sanding discs, and it was like a sponge sanding disc. Um, so everything, literally everything, every day I had to go through 3 or 4 of them to the point where he stopped buying them from Home Depot because it was too expensive. It was like $12 a pop. That we were able to find a pack on Amazon. It was like a plastic sanding thing for paint, And so he had me sand the whole thing. I remember because this was peak summertime, I did not want to work in the heat of the day. So I'd wake up at 2 in the morning, drive. It was an hour and a half drive to Richmond. It was a law building. And I'd work from like 3:30 till, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So till like 12 till noon. And then I'd go home and I go to the gym and go to bed and keep going the next day. But anyways, in the process of that, the YouTube channel called The Roommates, Hafiz had a series. I forget what he called it, but he'd basically take phone calls from normal people, normal fans, normal listeners, and he'd just cook them, be like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're 25 years old. You're not doing anything with your life. How much debt are you in?" Very much of a similar thing to Dave Ramsey, but a lot more ruthless and going a lot personal and digging into like, "Oh, you're not dating anybody. How much do you weigh? How tall are you?" And that was kind of the trend at the time. It was the growing part of the red pill movement with like Andrew Tate. I remember watching. Um, I was very much single at the time. I remember watching Fresh and Fit for the first time and watching Andrew Tate on there. I was on the Andrew Tate wave before anybody else was. Now I thought he was a little silly, and I remember talking to my friends on the drive to the beach, and Andrew Tate was talking about how depression wasn't real, and we'd be talking, and I kind of understood Andrew Tate's explanation of why depression isn't real. He wasn't saying that it's not clinically real. He was saying that if you have a mindset where this isn't a thing, it's not a thing, you're not going to deal with it. You may be sad periodically, but you're not depressed. You're not in that dark pit of a spiral downwards that depression is. And I understood it. I tried to explain it to them. They're like, no, no, it is a real thing. It's a clinical thing. Doctors prescribe medication. Oh, my sister's actually depressed too, so it's a real thing. Anyways, side note, anecdote, tangent. Back to the main story. I very much fell into that kind of, oh, I need to start doing something like that. Oh, I need to pick myself up. At that time too, this would have been like July. I remember I got on a Instagram live call with Hafiz and another guy called Justin, or he's a he runs it separate, or he's a co-runner of a group called The Standard with Hafiz. I forget what his name is. Never really talked to him or never really cared to talk to him. He was kind of corny to me. I'm not gonna lie, because he was super tall, but he walked like, so. This is how normal people walk. He kind of walked with his feet curved inwards like that, and he was super tall and super long. Super nice guy. Like when I meet him, super nice guy. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I'm gonna use my thumbs because it's easier with my thumbs. But he'd kind of walk like with his legs curved like that, rather than like a normal person like that. Oh, dook 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 dook. He'd walk dook 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 dook. Anyways, it was really funny, and that was just like a pet peeve, a really stupid pet peeve that would piss me off about how he walked. Um. Anyways, I hopped on an Instagram call with him, a video call, because he'd do these things and he'd ask people like, "What are they doing?" And he's like, "Hey man, like tell me your story." I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm." At the time, I was maybe 19. Um, because this would have been 2021. It's 2026 and 2023. Maybe 18 or 19. Um, Hopped on the call with him. We started talking. I told him kind of my life story. He was like, "Yeah, so you're not doing anything. It's like you're putting all that energy into playing video games. Like, are you dating anybody? Are you going to the gym?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm going into the gym. I've gained this much weight and I'm working hard." It's like, "Are you going to school?" I was like, "No." "Do you have any plans to go to school?" "No." And at the time, I wanted to go to school to be an architect. I was interested in architecture. I've always been a fan of drawing and interested in drawing and stuff like that, but didn't really pan out. So he's like, okay, like he's like, me and my buddy are actually starting a group called The Standard, and it was a men's growth group where people could be surrounded with similar, like-minded people. Tangent again. My problem with that kind of group is it doesn't actually attract successful people. It attracts people who are trying to be connected to successful people, but then they find out that there's not really successful people there, and then they're just around a bunch of bums who are trying to leech off of successful people. Anyways, back to the story. Um, at the time, it was very much of a growing group, and I'd see what they would post. I'd think, oh, I really like that. Like it's very much men's group, motivation group, and it had a very unique kind of entry way to the group, and it was to buy a suit. You bought a suit, and then you got a membership to the group. And I thought that was such a cool concept because you get a suit and then you get membership to the group. At the time, though, I could not afford a suit because the suits were $1,000, and I did not have $1,000. I was a broke kid. I remember I do this summer baby or summer dog sitting job, house sitting job, and that would pay me $1,000 for it was 3 months. So I don't even know what that breaks down to, but it was a really good, super good gig at the time. I had no money, and so I remember the group um, membership was through the suit. The suit was about $900. I could not afford it. And then he was like, "Well, we're about to open up a paid membership option where you pay a one-time thing. You can get early bird entry to it. So we'll charge you $300 and you get access to the group. Everybody else has had to buy a suit, or they're going to have to pay a $700 membership fee." It's like bet, like I can afford $300, and I was super interested. There was locals in Houston. He was like, "Yeah, there's 12 people in Houston. I'll get you connected. I'll get you hooked up with them. Like you can talk to them. I'll personally give you a call, catch up with you, kind of keep you accountable with what you're doing." That never really panned out. He called me twice. Um, I'm not beefing about it or frustrated about it. He's a busy guy. But he's like, "I want to make sure you get into architecture school. Look at you. Like I want to make sure that you keep your dreams or keep your goals." Anyway, so I joined the group. Really cool. That was kind of the period that right there, that moment I was like, okay, I need to lock in. Like I really do need to lock in. I was very much a grind set kind of person. At the time, I was not really caring for my faith. I was getting out of a nihilistic period when I was in Costa Rica my senior year, very much nihilistic. Um, and I was getting back into my faith, but then kind of just wishy washy, going to church, whatever. Found a new church that I wanted to go to. Very Protestant evangelical, nothing really meant anything. Everything was symbolic, kind of, just an entry to an evangelical church. Um, and that when I joined the group, I was like, okay, I really need to step it up. I really need to step it up. So I applied for school, and then that fall, I was I able to get into school that fall. I think I was able to get into school that fall. Or no, I applied to. That's right, I wasn't able to get in. I applied to A&M, and then I applied to Rice. My GPA is like 3.5 in high school, at least. It was like 3.5, 3.4. Complicated whole situation because I did come from Costa Rica, so some of the credits didn't roll over, and then, anyways, I applied to A&M Kingswood, which is far south by the border. And then they sent me, they're like, "Yeah, you've been accepted. Tuition, those going to be $13,000 a year." And keep in mind, I had out of state tuition because I wasn't in the States working long enough to be able to get the in state tuition. So I had out of state tuition, so it was even more expensive. I was like, I'm not going to do that. That's not worth it. So I decided, you know what? Let me talk with my aunt and uncle. Let me ask them to stay a few more months. I didn't have to pay rent. It was a super nice deal. They were so amazing. Um, okay, I need to stay till August, which is when school or till August of the following year. I didn't make it into school, and I was sad. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure to take advantage of this time, save up some money, stack up some money, work, hang out with friends, enjoy the last bit of like freedom from school that I have. Work, try to get jacked, um, find things that I love doing, find passions that I love doing. I got into some photography there. That was I bought a Canon Rebel T7. T7, I remember that camera. Such a shitty camera. But that's what you can get from Walmart for $500. At the time, $500. I'd go to pawn shops to find lenses. I still do that. Really good method. I found a few lenses from there that I own right now. I'm filming on a different lens right now. Um, rambling. Um, but I was able to use that time to get in-state tuition. Then I applied to University of Houston for architecture, got approved for architecture, sent in my portfolio. They were like, "Yeah, you've been approved." My thing appeared as architecture, and then like 3 weeks later, a month later, they're like, "Yeah, actually, we have decided to not have you approved. You're actually going to be into you're being put into psychology. That's a whole different story because I had first day of orientation, I dogged the orientation or like the academic advisor for philosophy. I was sitting with one of the people next to me. I was like, "Oh, like look at those professors up front. Look at the losers. Like I bet that lady who has short hair. I was like, I bet she's a philosophy one. Like look at her. You can tell she was in fact a philosophy." And I was the only person who they called out like, "Oh, all the engineers." And so it'd be like 20, 30 people get up and then go, "All the uh, communications," and like 150 people get up and go, "All the philosophy majors." And then I looked around, I was the only one, so I got up and then I walked out. And then she called me. She's like, "Oh, I heard you, everything you said about me, everything you said about philosophy. Like, I hope this is a wake up call for you to never talk shit about people behind their back again." It was really funny. I was like, it was like, I told her, I have no interest in philosophy or like in getting a degree in philosophy. I think it's really stupid. And I am supposed to be in architecture, not philosophy. So I don't know what's going on. I was like, can you tell me where this place is? Because I was cracking up because it's funny because she's crashing out on me like, oh, you're so dumb. Like first day and you're already fucking it up. It's like I don't care what you're literally a crackhead. I don't care what you have to say about me. I was like, can you just tell me where the academic advising place is, or like the office is, so I can go talk to them to get it sorted out. So I went there and they're like, oh yeah, you actually didn't get approved. It looks like you did get approved, but then they like put a pause, put a hold on it. I don't know. It's like okay, whatever. I'll do business instead. Um, so I wasn't able to swap it to business. I stayed in philosophy for about 2 years. I was doing all the core classes, all the business, or all the core classes. Started to do a few essential business ones, and then finally transferred to business, and now marketing. Do I think it's going to do anything? No. Um, Anyways, back to getting into school. I decided, okay, I need to lock in college, lock in. So I tried to become a manager. That's when I was working as a handyman. I worked as a handyman from the July of joining the group until January. So it was about 6 months. I think I was making same thing. I was making $16 an hour, but consistently. At Chili's, I wasn't making as much. But then I was able to get a job at Sherwin-Williams January. I don't even know the year. It's time kind of that whole period of time is weird because COVID happened, and I haven't really recovered time wise to know what time is what or like what years are what. If I look at a calendar, I can probably figure it out, but it all kind of blends together, and I don't really care to look at exactly the years. But that was just July. The following January, I got a job at Sherwin Williams, and so I was working there. It's like, okay, I need to stay full time at a position for a year, and then I can get my in-state tuition, go to school for cheaper, go to U of H, stay in Houston. Right, that was a plan. Thankfully, I did it. I got the plan. I succeeded. I got in-state tuition. I actually got a full tuition coverage from the University of Houston. I pay maybe $3,000 a semester, still 6,000 a year, but I'm able to afford it, and it's actually a huge blessing to not have to pay $40,000. I look at like the grants and tuitions, like you've approved a $15,000 grant. 15 Oops, and people are actually paying this. Blows my mind. Because that's one thing I did want to. I told myself I do not want to go into debt. I am a little bit into debt because I decided to move on campus because I thought it'd be cheaper. Definitely not cheaper, but it's only like 6 grand that I took out in actual student loans. So that's very much doable. Not ideal, but very much doable. It's not going to take me 30 years to pay off. It'll take me a year to pay off. Now, am I going to pay it off in a year? Not really, because I don't care to give these people money. So I'm probably going to pay it as low as possible. Now, interest is a thing. I don't really care. Anyways, make it last a long time because I don't want to give them my money. Um, but yeah, so got into school and then took some time off. Right before going into school, worked at a super evangelical church. It was a Presbyterian church, but it was super evangelical, and that was kind of the first awakening steps to me realizing I do not want to be part of this church. I don't know what's going on. None of this makes sense. This Christianity does not make sense. Christianity is a different topic. I don't really want to get into that. Very passionate about it, but that's going to be a topic for a different day. As you can see right here, Orthodox Bible. Hit that cross. Get all the demons watching away. Um, so I was able to work at the church for a little bit, and I wanted to see what it's like about. I've always wanted to kind of work for a church or in some sort of church affiliation. And so I worked there. Kind of hated it. Super gay. Probably shouldn't say that, but it was very kind of very sensitive. Very, you had to be very careful because everybody was women. Super cool women, but super sensitive. I remember one day making a joke about, oh yeah, I love guns or something like that. Oh, I'd shoot them. Something stupid in a car ride. I wasn't thinking because I don't really care to be cautious of what I say. Um, and they pulled me into the office and they're like, "Hey, you can't say things like that." It's like, "What did I say?" They're like, "Oh, you said something about guns." I was like, "Yeah, this is really stupid. Are you really telling me I can't talk about guns?" Like, yeah. I'm like, I don't care. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So worked for that church. Cool experience, great kids. Kind of in retrospect, I can see how much lack there is in that kind of church for actual spirituality, or for depth of knowledge, or for any kind of actual spiritual growth. Um, I'm not saying that I'm spiritually grown or anything. I'm actually really bad. Uh, I need my prayer life to significantly improve, and I'm trying to take actionable steps, but I still am not doing the best job. Um, but yes, so worked for that, and then got into school. Stopped working for a little bit. Started dating this girl, and then got into some credit card debt because I was trying to pay for school and trying to do all these things. And I was like, I need a break. I'm gonna get a job. So I started working at this place part time. I was kind of drifting because I did not care much for the job. Um, was not very ambitious at the time. I started a clothing brand. Um, it was called Fishers of Men Clothing. I still have some of the designs or some of the shirts. Love it. Love the concept. Definitely ways that I can improve now on that concept, and I plan on improving that on that concept, making it more luxury, making it higher quality, focusing really on the quality aspect and the expression of it, rather than just, oh, it's a Christian clothing company. I try to capitalize on TikTok Shop. Didn't really post enough. Was had too many things too scattered about. Started working with a local gym who I thought was super cool, but apparently his girl does OnlyFans, and that's why he's with her. And he's super shitty person because he talks trash about all his members being too cheap. But then when I try to charge him for video footage, because I'm a videographer, he's like, "Oh no, I'll talk to you later," and then complains about me that he made me and he made my video career. He didn't do anything. He should give me free work. So cut that relationship out because I don't want any of that. I don't got time for any of that. I thought you were a cool guy. Apparently, you're just really scummy, very shitty, and very fake. And I don't care for that. And it's very easy for me to cut people off, and I don't really feel much. So I'm just like, okay, okay, goodbye. I don't need you. I'm never gonna see you again in my life, so I don't really care. You can see me and seethe of what I'm doing. Um, his gym is failing. It's sad to see because it was a really cool gym, really cool concept, but it's kind of failing because he was very stubborn and very obstinate and kind of a crappy businessman and talked trash about people. And it was, yeah, there's no growth if you talk trash about people. There's no growth if you don't take feedback. There's no growth if and that's something I'm learning myself as somebody who's in a position of authority now. um, but there's no growth. Like and you have to listen to people out. You have to hear different ideas, be always open to new ideas, be willing to have people help you out. These are all things, basic things that you should learn if you want to be a good businessman. Mainly, don't talk shit about your clients. Don't talk shit about your clients. Don't talk shit about your members. They're the ones who are paying your bills. You're gonna talk shit about them, call them cheap. No, you're gonna fail. That's just how it is. You're gonna fail. um, you don't value them. So you can have the sickest concept. You can have the coolest ideas, but they never cleaned anything. They never. I'd clean for them because I love the gym. I was like, oh, I'll clean the lobby. You're good. You're good. You're good. Never. They never cleaned anything. Never cleaned the bathrooms. Never cleaned the floors. Anyways, but at the time I had a clothing brand and I was trying to get that going. Bought a set Sony A7 IV, um, and it was kind of driven to okay. I want to figure this out. I want to do something. I don't want to follow the conventional path of corporate America. I have no interest in that. My personality does not align with that. I do not want to work under people, normal people. I don't want to have a bureaucracy, work in a bureaucracy. I don't want to deal with sensitivity or bullshit or fakeness or brown nosing, none of that. I've got no interest in any of that. And so I knew, okay, corporate America is not me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to try to do that. I'm getting a degree right now, not because I want to be in corporate America. One, maybe because the skills that I can learn from marketing can help me in my business. And then two, because my dad is Hispanic and he's like, if you don't go to school and get a degree, I'm going to disown you. He didn't really say that, but he basically said that. So, anyways, I'm getting my degree, almost done. But I had some ambition. I had some drive. Um, Moved in with a buddy. He was super ambitious. At least I thought. Um, Still love him. Super cool guy. But I kind of realized, hey, a point of freedom and moving out is to have the freedom and the ability to kind of experiment, do things, try things, fail. And he never really did anything. He kind of just bummed around all day, started smoking weed, and I had no interest in doing any of that. I was like, I don't want to be around people that drag me down, which is something some nobody really talks about. People are like, oh, you need to copy who you look up to, but nobody really mentions how you can actually find a lot of motivation from being around people that you do not want to be anything like. You will push so hard to get out of a situation if you're surrounded with people you do not want to be like. At least that's what I view. I say as a motivating factor. I know some people may not. Some people may just fall into kind of a depression there where they feel trapped or they complain or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of my 2 cents for that. Fast forward a few years, move in with another roommate. He's super cool. Love the guy. Um, Move in with my uncle after that, and then move on to campus, and then now I'm on my own. But the whole time, house, my bed, my bedroom, my apartment have never really been places where I chill at. I've never really chilled anywhere. If you can see the background, it's very simple. Kitchen's on that side, living room's on this side, desk is right here, bed is through those doors. No couch. Don't really have an interest in a couch because I don't want to chill. Don't have a TV. Don't have um, things that people normally have in an apartment. It's very bare bones, and it's like that for a reason because I don't want to be here long. I don't want to be here stationary on the couch watching TV for 8 hours a day after I get done from work and then go to bed and then wake up and repeat, wash and rinse and repeat. It's 1:41 in the morning. I gotta wrap this video up and go to bed. But for the past 3 years, the place where I stay really hasn't been a major factor because I'm always trying to do things. I'm always trying to stay busy, work on a business, work on business ideas. I try to. It's called Ollieworks. I want to do is like some sort of creative thing. So I came up with these Christian Bible based deck of cards, which is called the Gideon deck, and did all the drawings. Still have them somewhere probably on this computer. Um, so if that's something you guys would be interested, I have all the drawings, all the deck of cards, everything is made. I just need to pay for it to be made. Uh, but had that, worked on, kept trying to grow the clothing brand. Did 4 drops, made maybe $1,000 off of it. Didn't ever really break a profit. Now it's a sunk cost. I don't think I ever did break a profit, and then decided to reinvest all my time, money, and energy into videography. So I put a pause, if not hold, if not stopping on that. Learned a lot about business doing that. Learned a lot about taxes and or not paying taxes. Um, IRS, Ollieworks does not exist. Colin Chen has died. Um, Texas sales tax I definitely did pay, but not IRS yearly taxes. That's gonna bite me in the butt someday, I know, but we're gonna thug it out. That's a problem for another time. But I've always been trying to stay busy, and now that I reflect it, there's not a lot of people like that. Thankfully, I have a business partner who's equally as ambitious, if not more ambitious. He'll text me at 7. He'll text me at midnight. I'm like, bro, I just got off of work. Like, what's up? I was like, thank you for today. It was a great day. We recorded super well. Did the videos, did the content, sent him the videos that I finished up. We're good. We're good. And then I go to bed, and then he wakes me up at 7. Hey, bro, I'm going on a run. Like, shit, he's a crackhead. But we're both crackheads, so I love it. Fortunately, he lives in Austin, 3-hour drive. I visit him. He visits me every once in a while. But we mainly work virtual, so fine. I wish he was closer though, because then we could hang out, work a lot more. But I've always been very driven, very ambitious. Not always, but it is very interesting to see how that lack is in other people and how there's not really many people like me. Maybe that's me being prideful or being selfish or being not open to other people, or I don't know how you'd say that. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. Maybe I'm very much focused in, and so I don't see other. What is it when a horse is blocked? Maybe that's me. I don't know. I see every once in a while, but I'm not at the point yet where I attract that kind of person that is super hardworking or ambitious and like has made it. I'm in the process of growing and building my skills and developing my talents and expanding. I'm in the process of expanding. So I'm kind of in that awkward stage of, okay, I'm doing more than everybody else, but I'm not doing as well as everybody else. My time is very spread out, very spread thin. Um, Hence why it's 1:44 in the morning and I'm recording this video. But I just want to give you kind of, I'm a very normal person. Very normal person. Maybe slightly smarter than the normal person. Nothing crazy. I'm really stupid, really dull. Um, Maybe that's a good thing because I can just plow through things, not really sit back, get analysis by paralysis. Sometimes I do get analysis by paralysis because I'm like, I'm nervous. I don't want to do this. I got to go talk to this business or like walk into this coffee shop and see if they need a videographer. Oh, I don't want to do that. Never going to see the people again. Doesn't really matter. I can do it. Get over your fear of confrontation or your fear of it's not confrontation. It's fear of failure. Get over your fear of rejection. That's what it is. Fear of rejection. Get over your fear of rejection. Just go say hi. Just introduce yourself. Hey, I'm a videographer. Do you need some help? Blah blah blah. I focus on social media. Blah blah blah. Give them the whole spiel. Grow up. Be a man. But I'm a very normal person, and I would like this story or this wake up call. If y'all can find something that can wake you up, do it. Don't be like everybody else. Don't be like everybody else. There is a time and a place when you are to be with everybody else, to be with a family, and that's specifically in the church. But other than that, be yourself. Fight for what you want. Strive to be better. Strive to do more. Strive to be holy. Strive to be separate. Don't try to be like everybody else. Don't try to please other people. I think that's the biggest thing I've learned is I'm not trying to please anybody. I don't care to please anybody. If my priest called me out and was like, "Hey, Colin, that's not cool. Shit, I need to fix what I'm doing because my priest just called me out." But if it's some rando or somebody who I do not want to be like, St. John Chrysostom said something along the lines of, "Why would you care about somebody's opinion if they're not somebody who you want to be like? Only a fool falls for the advice of somebody who they do not want to be like. Don't be a fool. Don't follow advice of people who you do not see yourself following, role modeling, or wanting to switch places with. It's stupid." Now, granted, everybody has wisdom that they can give you, everybody has feedback that they can give you, everybody has golden nuggets that they can give you, but don't let their opinions impact you. Don't let their opinions matter to you because it doesn't matter. They don't matter at the end of the day. Spiritually, they do. For you and your growth and your development, they don't. Because why am I going to listen to my boomer uncle, for example, and the advice of the economy or investing when he invested when Amazon was at like $3 and now it's at, I don't even know, $3,000. Oh yeah, just invest $10 a day. Don't buy a cup of coffee. Invest that into the S&P, and then over the span of the next 60 years, we'll have $10 in your account. You'll have $100,000 in your account by the time you're 65, and that's just off of saving money from buying a coffee a day. And then it compounds at 6% every year because it has an annual yield of 12%. Dog, when I'm 65 years old, we probably won't even have the dollar. Inflation is going to be so high that $100,000 now is going to be $1 then. So like, don't give me that of, oh, just do these things. Oh, just no. The situation right now at hand with the economy is you need to make as much money as you can fast because money's value is right now. You cannot guarantee the value of money in 20, 30, 40 years. There's probably not going to be dollars. There's going to be some sort of universally based currency under the New World Order, under the Antichrist system, and there's going to be persecution and a whole bunch of nonsense. So don't stress about, oh, I'm going to need to invest. Sure, be wise with your money, but realistically, we're not going to have an investment account when we're 65 worth of dollars. Maybe it's going to be something else, but if you look at the trends of history, we're at the point where the Roman Republic became an empire. We're at that point where the United States Republic is going to become an empire. We're at the 250-year mark. We're there. History repeats itself. Humans are predictable. There's nothing new under the sun, as Holy Scriptures say. So don't stress, you guys. Just focus on developing skills. Now, that's a very broad thing to say and very generic. Oh, develop skills. Personally, what I found has helped, develop video skills, develop communication skills. That's something I'm trying to develop. Is I used to be very social, but now I'm kind of introverted because I'm working so much. I need to develop that. Okay, I need to have a continuous conversation with somebody and introduce myself, be charming. Um, and that's the purpose of this video, is because if I can talk to a camera and if I can express my thoughts and not use filler words and I can hear myself saying or like, but if I can communicate clearly for extended periods of time, then I'll be able to communicate with a person, get my ideas across easily, tell stories in an interesting way, be engaging, be fun, be expressive, use the tonality of my voice to express different emotions. Like, those are all skills that you can learn. Video skills, Premiere Pro, editing, color grading, using AI, figure out how to use TikTok Shop. These different things. It's not a hindrance. And I don't want to be that person that's, oh, just invest in skills. What does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. You have to find something specific, a specific function or service that everybody uses that cannot be replaced. Now, videography will definitely be replaced by AI. People will be able to generate videos easily. But at the same time, you can't really AI generate experiences. So weddings, you can't experience the ambiance of a coffee shop. You can't experience the intenseness of an IFBB pro competing on a pro stage or competing at the Arnold. AI can never replace experiences. So videography is a very good safeguard on that, because sure, cheap people will always be cheap. Cheap people will, oh, here's a picture of me and my wife. Can you generate some wedding pictures? Cheap people will always do that. Oh, it's going to cost 2 credits. Okay. Cheap people are always going to be cheap. So don't invest. It doesn't matter. Try to invest in experiences. People will always go to Disneyland. You're not going to, maybe there's going to be VR goggle rides, whatever. There already are. But they're not going to replace the entire thing of Disney, the entire experience of going to Disney parks with AI. You can't. Maybe when they plug it into our head matrix style, you'll be able to do that, but not right now. Not within my lifetime, at least. My generation is too, not at least, not with the period of time, not in the period of time that my generation is a thing. Because my generation is growing up in a generation where technology is everywhere, everything is now AI, and people hate AI right now. So if they keep trying to push that, Gen Z will want to stay in reality because AI sucks and it's inefficient and it's cheap and it's crappy and everything's shitty. Anyways, to wrap up the video, the lesson I want to take, or that I want you to take, and that I need to take, is to not try to please people. Don't be a people pleaser. Don't care what people think. Do things because it makes you a better person. growing pains, suffer. You can't go to the gym, you can't get big without suffering. You can't grow stronger if you don't suffer. You can't grow stronger if you're not struggling. So struggle hard, make the sacrifice now, because in 15 years, in 20 years, you may have too many liabilities. You may have a wife, you may have kids, you may have been at this job for 20 years and now you have a 401k connected to them, and it's too scary to take a risk. It's too scary to do these things. Do it now. Do it now. I see a lot of people, and it's very common that comparison is a thief of joy. But I see people who are 28 who are living the life that I want to be living. But then I look, oh shit, I'm 23. I've got 5 years on them. I'm starting way before they started, and I'm still doing okay. I'm not doing amazing. I'm doing okay. So I can keep working hard. If they made it, I can make it. There's nothing that made them different than me other than time. So I'm going to work even harder than they can possibly imagine, way harder than they can possibly imagine, to get to the spot that I want faster and better. And I will do that. I promise you. Anyways, God bless. Go to Divine Lady. If you watch the end of the video, comment like, vintage glass is better than modern glass. I don't know, some bullshit. Anyways, God bless. Bye bye.